Hello, my name is Paul Miners and welcome back to another one of my Pipedrive training videos. In this video, I want to expose some of the lesser known kind of hidden features of Pipedrive, some of the things that I find are easily missed. This list I've created today is the result of me talking to a lot of clients, helping them with Pipedrive, and these are some of the things that I show people, and I always get that reaction of, oh wow, I didn't even know that was there. So I am assuming that people watching this video have already started using Pipedrive, you understand the basics. This video is for you. If you're brand new with Pipedrive and you haven't even got started yet, I would recommend checking out the other videos on my channel. I have an entire playlist of videos explaining how to use Pipedrive. And if you would like any help with Pipedrive, check out the link in the description below where you can learn more about the consulting options that we provide if you'd like some help with setting up your account, automating your sales process, and training your team on how to be super users with Pipedrive. The first feature I wanted to show you is actually in the Pipedrive smartphone app. So I have the iPhone app open here and I'm inside a deal. Now if I click the plus button and click activity, I can schedule an activity or log some kind of interaction that I've had with the client. So maybe in this case I've had a meeting. I can set what date and time this is occurring. And then if I go into the notes down here, I can click to record an audio note. Now, before I tap record, I can choose whether I want to create a transcription or not. So let's go ahead and try this now. This is a test recording and an example of how you can turn an audio note into text. There we go. So I've updated my activity now. I've got the recording which I can play back at the top, and I've got the text transcribed for me as well. So this is really useful if you, after the meeting, for example, or after a phone call, want to write a quick note to yourself. You can record it as audio to listen to back later, or you can just easily read the note. This is one of the useful features of the iPhone or the smartphone app that you actually can't do natively in the browser. So one of the reasons I really like using the iPhone app. The next feature that I'd like to highlight, which I find, again, is a little bit hidden and a lot of people don't realize is there, is the contact timeline. So if I go to my contacts page here, you'll see we can look at the people and the organizations in the account. And then this option here, the contact timeline, lets you view either people or organizations. I can select what I'm looking at up here. And just like I would with my contacts, I can filter what contacts I want to look at. So I can look at every contact assigned to me, or I can apply a filter up here. Maybe I want to look at high value clients, for example. And this contact timeline shows me the interactions I've had in a sort of very visual way with these clients. So if we look down here at Holly McLean, there's a bit of action on this timeline. I can click here and I can see that some emails were sent back in February. We had a call in March, another one later in March as well. This green line here for Jimi Hendrix, this represents a deal. So I can see that we had a deal open. It's now green, indicating that the deal is now won. But I can see during what period of time that deal was open for. I can see notes related to the deal as well. And I can see upcoming activities that are scheduled. So, any calls or follow-ups that I've scheduled, I can see those in the future. This red line here is today. So everything to the right side of this red line is what's coming up in the future. Now, I have an entire video about this feature where I go into this in a little bit more detail. But one of the useful features of this screen is that you can set up what's called a follow-up frequency. So I can say, I want to follow up with this list of clients biannually or quarterly if I want. And so once I've set my follow-up frequency here, Pipedrive is going to rank and sort my contacts into the order in which I need to contact them. So Nick Fury is at the top here because he's the person I haven't talked to in the longest amount of time. Whereas down the bottom here, Tim Cook, you can see there was an email here earlier today. So he's at the bottom because he's been contacted more recently. These red ones, these are the ones that I need to talk to urgently because I haven't talked to them within this sort of biannual period. So this is a really useful feature where you can, again, use this to sort of manage the follow-ups with your important clients, customers who are already paying with you, almost like starting to use Pipedrive for a little bit of account management. And so it's really nice for that nurture phase of your sales funnel where you want to be maintaining a good relationship with your contacts. The next feature I'd like to highlight is that you can use deal probabilities to forecast your potential revenue for the month. So this is the normal pipeline view, and you might already be aware there is this forecast view that helps me see how much revenue I'm likely to receive for a given month. And the way this works is if I click into one of these deals, I put an expected close date on the deal when I'm fairly confident the deal is going to close. Maybe I've received a verbal, yes, we're going to go ahead, we're going to sign this contract. I can then say, right, I expect to win this deal in June, and this is worth $15,000. Now, what Pipedrive does is based on the stage that you're in. If I go to my pipeline settings, you can see for this meeting arrange stage, there's a 50% probability that I will win a deal from this stage because we're only having that initial meeting. It's not that likely yet. Whereas if I get to contract sent, it's much more likely that I'm going to close the deal. It's closer to 100, or in this case, it's 95%. So those stage probabilities allow us to apply a weighted forecast. So you can see we have two deals in here, and they have a combined value of 24,600. But because that 50% probability weighting has been applied, Pipedrive is saying, oh, you're only likely to close $12,300. Now, if I like, I can apply a probability at the deal level to override the stage probability. So if I've worked with Tom's big company before, I have a relationship, I'm pretty confident this is going to close, I could set my probability here at 90%. That way, when I go back here, and if I refresh my screen, instead of using the stage probability, the default stage probability, Pipedrive is now going to apply the deal-specific probability, and so you can see my weighted value has changed. It's still $24,600 worth of business, but now the forecasted revenue is $18,300. That's because this deal is applying the 90% probability instead of the stage 50% probability. Now, if you're not seeing this feature in your account, this is something you'll need to turn on. If you go to edit your pipeline settings, you'll need to enable this deal probability option here. And so that's a nice way that you can forecast the likely sales that you're going to receive, and especially if you have a deal that you're really confident is going to close, you can apply a more specific probability to that deal. Another feature, which again often gets missed or people just don't realize it's there, is that we can rearrange this sidebar on the left-hand side. So inside a deal here, I can see my deal details, the details of my contact, this revenue section, I can see company info, data about my deal, followers, participants, and so on. And if I like, I can click here to manage the sidebar. So for example, if maybe that revenue section just doesn't apply to me, it's not relevant to my business, I could turn that section off. And in my case, I like having the deal details at the top. I want the deal details first, and then the person's contact information. So if I save this now, my sidebar, all these sections, is going to save into the order that I prefer. This is something I often change when I'm working with a customer and I get into their account. I notice that the deal details can be really far down, so I'll often rearrange that and people are like, hang on, what did you just do? So there we go, you can manage your sidebar and you can organize that into the way that you like it. Another unknown feature that I like showing people is to do with email sync. Now, if you are on the advanced or higher plan of Pipedrive, you can set up a two-way email sync with your Gmail or your Microsoft email account. If you're on the Essential plan, you don't have that two-way sync, but what you can do is you can BCC emails from your Outlook or from your Gmail. You can BCC them into Pipedrive using this BCC address. A useful feature is that you can actually whitelist multiple email addresses. So I have my normal email connected to this Pipedrive account, but by adding in a second address here, you can see I've already done it with this second address. I can whitelist multiple email addresses, and that way I can be working from my email or maybe a sales inbox or an admin email address, and I can forward emails from those accounts into Pipedrive. And because I have that email address whitelisted with my account, that email then shows up. So this is a really useful workaround, especially for sales teams where you do work in some kind of shared email inbox. You need to BCC those emails into your account. You can whitelist multiple emails there. Another useful feature which often gets missed is that you can attach products and product variations to a deal. So when you first sign up to Pipedrive, you can edit the value of the deal to show what is this deal worth. And so I can say this is a $10,000 deal, that's the revenue that we're going to get, or it's just the value of the deal. But if I go to my tools and apps and go to products, I can enable the product catalog, and I can enable price variations and product durations. Once you do that, it's going to put this products tab on your sidebar where you can set up the different types of product and service that you sell. So if I go into SEO here, let's say I'm selling SEO services, I can put in a default price for this service, and I can set up variations for different packages that I offer. So I can say I've got an audit here for 500, keyword research is 1,000, and link building is 1,500. So now when I go to a deal, I'll just reload my page because I've just turned on that new feature. Now, instead of just putting on a value, I can add products. And so I can say, right, we're doing SEO, there we go. And I can pick my variation, let's say link building. It's going to fill in my default price, but I could change this. Maybe it's a custom project. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. I can apply taxes, discounts, and I can even set a duration as well. I can even attach multiple products. Maybe we're doing some app design as well. I can attach multiple products in here. And so the combined total of 12.5 thousand, that then becomes my deal value. So this is a really useful feature. Number one, from a reporting perspective, you can then report on what products or services you're selling and actually just unpack a little bit more data in your reports. The other benefit is if you do use the built-in invoicing features to connect Pipedrive with QuickBooks or Xero, you can then generate invoices that pull in that product data to make invoicing that much quicker. Another useful feature to do with reporting is that you can report on not just the revenue that you've collected or the deals that you've won, and an example of that would be a report like this, which shows me any deal that I've won this year. I can see the value of those deals. That's great. But if you are on the professional plan, the professional subscription lets you do custom reporting. And with custom reporting, what I can do is I can set up new custom fields to track things like budgets or commissions. So this is something we've worked on with a number of our clients, and I actually have an entire video on how to set up this commission report in Pipedrive, so check out the video linked above. But because I have the professional subscription, firstly, I can create a custom field, which actually doesn't matter what subscription you have, you can create that. So if I go to one of these deals here, you can see this is a $10,000 deal, but I've said that this deal is awarding a $500 commission to this salesperson here. And so now by being on the professional plan, I can report on this custom field, and I can change my y-axis. Instead of reporting on deal value, I could report on commission. So it's a really useful way of doing a little bit more advanced reporting inside Pipedrive, not just on the revenue that you've collected, but for commissions, cost of goods sold, maybe you want to report on your advertising expense related to a deal. There's lots of different options. Another useful professional feature that allows you to improve the quality of your reporting in Pipedrive, and it's a useful feature that helps you to make sure your sales team are using Pipedrive properly, is that you can make these custom fields on the left here required. So you can see these ones here in this yellow box, these are marked as important, which means that they're being highlighted. It's prompting the salesperson to fill in this field. And that's okay, that's quite useful because it's just sort of highlighting that field. But if I want to make it so that I can't update the deal without filling in a field first, what I can do is I can go to my company settings, go down to data fields here, and let's say I want to make deal type required. I can edit the field here, and I'm going to make it required. I'm going to choose which pipeline this is related to. So I'm just going to do it for my main sales pipeline. And I'm going to say it's only required after the proposal has been sent, or any of those later stages, or if I'm winning or losing the deal. So once I save that now, if I go back to my deal screen, I'll reload the page just to apply those new settings. But if I then have a deal where the deal type here is not filled in, if I try and then move this to the proposal sent stage, in this case, it's going to pop up this box and say, oh, you need to fill this in. So I can then fill that in, and then it's going to update the deal. So this is a really useful trick. If your sales team aren't very good at filling in information, you can make it so that they are forced to fill in those important details, which again improves the accuracy of your reporting and just maintaining good data health in Pipedrive. Another useful feature of Pipedrive, which is again quite hidden, is that you can schedule emails to send later. So because I have my Gmail account connected, I can send an email here, and I'm going to just choose a quick template to populate my email. And if I don't want to send this now, I can click this little arrow and I can send it later. So I can choose a custom time, a predefined time here, tomorrow morning, afternoon, or I can specify a date. Maybe I'm just going to send it next week. So I can schedule that email to send later. So that's going to save it there. The little clock icon shows that this is scheduled. I can see it scheduled. And if I want to, I can click on this and maybe I want to edit it before I send it. I'll click in here. And I can cancel the schedule and move it back to my drafts, or I can cancel the schedule and just delete it if I need to. The final feature that I wanted to show you, and again, clients are always amazed when I do this on a call with them, is that you can bulk edit information. So if I'm going to bulk edit my deals, I'm going to come to this list view up here. I'm going to filter my deals to show just the ones that I want. So maybe I want to look at all the deals, let's just say all deals that I have already won, for example. So here's that list. I can then either click this box up here to select every single deal, or if I want, I can click and drag and I can selectively choose which deals I want to update. And you'll see this bulk edit panel appears. So I can edit any information about the deal, like maybe I want to reassign all of these to a different user. I could change that if I wanted to. Maybe I want to assign a value to all of them. I could move them all to a different stage. I can change the status if I need to reopen them. I could mark all of them as lost. And even all of the custom fields that I've set up for things like deal source here, I can change those custom fields as well. So maybe I'm going to set these all up to be the phone field. Let's keep that. So once I've made my changes, I can then click edit. Pipedrive is then just going to bulk update every single deal. So really useful way of just quickly editing a lot of information at once without having to click into each deal to manually update them. And so there you go. That is my list of 10 hidden and lesser known features of Pipedrive that often get overlooked. If you have any questions about anything I've covered in this video, please feel free to leave me a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.